Hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix, and welcome, Virgo, to your astrological overview for the year of 2026. This is for you if you have your sun in Virgo or your rising sign, also known as the ascendant. And just so that you know, I use tropical Western astrology. And I also want to add, before I go into the headlines of what's unfolding for you in 2026, that astrology is very much about choice. So I'm going to give you the cosmic weather forecast for 2026. Not all of it. We would be here for days. But I'm giving you what I feel are the most helpful and constructive topics to highlight for you throughout 2026. But astrology, remember, presents us with an energy, and it's up to us individually whether we choose to work with that energy or ignore it. The problem with just letting it all go is that with astrology, the transits are still going to happen, whether you pay attention to them or not. And what can happen is that we get tossed and turned around because we are not perhaps paying attention to the energies in our charts. And therefore, it's not always so easy to gain the best advantage from the transits that are on offer. That is why it is so helpful to have an astrological reading, to understand your natal chart, to understand how these transits are affecting the various life areas that are important to you. And remember, if you would like to have an astrological reading with me, then please go to my website, pennydix.com, and email me at penny@pennydix.com. Please let me know your time zone. And because I'm in Central European time, so to give you a clue, that's 6 hours ahead of Eastern time, United States. Let's start with your reading. So in essence, Virgo, I think 2026 is a really pivotal year for reinventing yourself with your career, rebranding yourself, relaunching yourself. I think you can experience deep emotional and financial maturity. You can really restructure your lifestyle and health in a very positive way. And the whole of the energy of 2026 brings about, I think, a shift in your personal spiritual understanding that really prepares you for a major new beginning when we get to 2027. So let's just have a look at the key themes and work our way through these. So let's just have a look, because Pluto, our planet of transformation, our planet of beginnings, endings, change, cycles, birth and death, is in the 6th house of your chart. This is Aquarius. And Aquarius, of course, is all about technology. And Aquarius is also about connecting with larger groups and communities. But this is the part of your chart to do with your day-to-day routine. So this is where Pluto, over the next 18, 19 years, is going to work with you to restructure your working environment, whatever you do. Even if you no longer work, you're retired, whatever sort of situation you find yourself in with your daily activities, your passions, your hobbies, your career, then you're going to get a new way of doing things. Your physical health is under the spotlight too, with Pluto in this part of your chart. And at various times when Pluto is triggered by other outer planets' movements, we will see this having an effect potentially on your health. But that can be for the positive, so not necessarily the negative. I think also Pluto in this part of your chart is helping you work with managing your energy and pacing yourself so that you find a more sustainable way for your working routine so that you don't end up in burnout. Now we come to an exciting breakthrough in your career, a chance for public recognition, because Uranus, that has been in Taurus for the last 7 years, which is your 9th house of travel and higher learning, where it's been maybe taking you far afield and getting you to, re-look at all your spiritual beliefs and ideas. It's going to move into your 10th house, Gemini, and that's for another 7 years, and that's happening mid-April, about April the 26th. Now, what will happen is, to begin with, it will be most of this year hovering around what's known as your midheaven. This is the very top of the chart, and this is a pivotal, powerful point to hover on for Uranus, depending what your work is, because remember, the 10th house is about our career, our soul purpose, our anything we're passionate about, even if we don't have a career. If we work in an office job, it can bring unexpected promotion, but it's all about sudden changes to do with your career. And you've got this energy here for the next 7 years. But for the next year, with Uranus hovering on that midheaven, you can achieve public recognition that may be long overdue. This may be because you finally released something to the world that you've been working on. Maybe, a book, or maybe you have a YouTube channel, and that can really take off with this energy there. So expect unexpected promotions. And in a sense, what you're going to be doing is really pushing towards more freedom, more elbow room, freedom of speech, being quite rebellious in your dealings with people, and really looking for authenticity. And also with this, so for the first 4 months, you'll still have Gemini and Taurus, where it's tidying up. It's been causing probably upheavals for you. And really, once it moves into this 10th house, Gemini, you're going to have the most wonderful, innovative ideas, far more independence in the way you work. Your creativity will be birthed from originality, and that will become central to your success. A nice transit to have, Virgo. Now let's move on to another very important shift of energies we've got between Saturn and Neptune. Saturn, our planet of structure, timing. Saturn can also be about it's restrictive, it's boundaries, it's containment, and it slows things down. And you've had this part of you've had Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, in your 7th house of significant relationships. So it could have brought a lot of confusion, illusion, and a desperate looking for stability and structure. And that may have come as Saturn and Neptune finally leave your 7th house of Pisces and join forces at the 0 degree of Aries, your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is the house of intimacy, of transformation, of sexuality. And at that pivotal point of these two planets moving to the 0 degree, which is the first degree of the whole zodiac wheel, this is on February the 20th. This is big. And you may not notice anything on the 20th of February, but you certainly may notice things leading up to and beyond. But really, once these two huge outer planets start progressing through the 8th house, through Aries, it begins a karmic cycle that is long overdue. Now, there's something interesting about that 0 degree of Aries for you on the 8th house, because if there's been a bit of not sure whether to commit with a significant relationship, this can bring the commitment. This can bring the decision to move in, to make it legal, to have a civil partnership, a marriage. Do people still get married nowadays? I don't know. But we also need to look at what else the 8th house stands for, because this is also the part of the chart where you can do some serious financial restructuring. You will have much better insight around inheritance, debts, your investments, anything that is shared resources, trust with people that you have joint and shared resources with. There's also something here about emotional boundaries connected with these intimate relationships, so that trust can come under the spotlight whilst Saturn and Neptune move through this part of your chart. There can be vulnerability, but I think that you will work with it in classic Virgo way of analysing it, looking at the ins and outs, looking at different ways of managing it so that you and the other can progress forward. Neptune is going to be in this part of your chart for 14 years. It's going to increase your psychic abilities. That's my sense of Neptune for you, in quite a radical way. Quite sort of, wow, you just know stuff. So next, we need to look at, we have, let me see. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about Saturn and Neptune, and I was talking about Pluto, is that Saturn and Neptune are going to be making sextiles individually and together to Pluto that is in your 6th house. they're going to make these sextiles at various times throughout the year. This is because Neptune especially and Pluto move very slowly. So they're going to be at 0 and 1, 1 and 2 degrees of their respective signs, holding the energy of this helpful sextile. Therefore, helping you to utilize the energies of the sixth house, maybe with regard to health and how you express that through your emotional relationships in the eighth house. And I think this will also help you to, it's going to help you to do with Saturn, to get that structure into the management of your daily routines and your health regimes. And the other aspect that we do need to talk about, because it's going to happen about 5 times over the next 2 years, I think, or 3 years, but it's happening quite a lot. Uranus, that of course has moved into your 10th house of career, or at least it will, on April the 26th, is going to be making a trine aspect to Pluto. So that's the 10th house down to the 6th house. This again gives you such wonderful, helpful energy to restructure your working life, utilize it in the way forward with your career in innovative and unexpected ways. And you've got this energy on and off really for about 2 years. So, you know, wherever you are in your life, the next year and the year after that, 2027 and into 2028, you can lay the most really good structured foundations. You're going to surprise people. People are going to be sitting up and taking notice of Virgo. So let's see, where do I want to go next? I want to go to Jupiter, because Jupiter has been in your 11th house and is until June 2026. Jupiter, remember, is the planet of expansion, of luck, of opportunity. And Jupiter in the 11th house has brought in a lot of new friends, a lot of group opportunities. And it's helped you get long-term dreams, gaining some momentum. You've managed to move forward with these. Now, Jupiter is going to move into Leo, which of course is your 12th house. And that's from late June. And that, of course, is going to affect your inner world, your spiritual growth. It can see you closing a particular chapter of your life and empower you on a psychological level to be ready to really move forward into 2027 in an incredibly powerful way, because in 2027, you'll have Jupiter in your sign. And that is going to be very exciting. But we haven't got there yet. So let's just pull everything back to where we are now. Now, there is a very important opposition coming up, and that's between Jupiter in Leo, and this is in July, and Pluto in your 6th house, Aquarius. So that's the 12th house to the 6th house. This opposition is really pushing you to transform on an inner level. I think it is pulling up all the depths and demons and devils from your unconscious for you to face your mortality, which we all have to face at some point. It doesn't matter what age we are. I was talking to someone this morning who said the problem with the West is we talk a lot about sex and we don't talk about death. And if we talked more about death, perhaps many of us, so many of us, would not have fears about it. We are not taught in the West how to embrace our life and death by living in the now, by staying in the present. And I think this Jupiter opposite Pluto for you in July in particular is going to be bringing up these kind of demons and dark nights of the soul. But know that it's actually a gift. Jupiter, it's an opportunity to face these things and to realize that actually it's just a transition. And the most important or the most helpful way to deal with any of these fears we get around this subject is to stay in the now. Remember the book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. We only ever have now. And I think that Jupiter in Leo in your 12th house will teach you how to embrace and live with uncertainty. Pluto in that 6th house transforms that for you. So what else do I need to tell you? I need to tell you about Chiron, our wounded healer, because Chiron has been in Aries in your 8th house. And Chiron is this planet, or rather it's a space object, it's a cosmic body that represents the inner wounds we have, the traumas that we carry, the need sometimes to seek the help of another to help guide us. And it may be that whilst Chiron has gone through this 8th house, that, your 9th house, your 8th house, Aries, whilst it has gone through your, getting it all wrong. Whilst it has gone through, hang on, let's start again. You see, I do this in one take, no editing, you get it warts and all. Chiron is entering your 9th house from your 8th house, Aries. That is what I wanted to get to. Pisces is your 7th house. Right, now I've established that in my brain. I can move on. I think when it enters Taurus, your 9th house, this links in beautifully with that Jupiter in Leo in your 12th and Pluto in the 6th in Aquarius, because Chiron enters Taurus in mid-2026. It will go back into Aries for a while, but this is where you can receive healing around faith, purpose, education. It will empower you to redefine your philosophy of life. It's going to release you from any fears you might have about speaking your truth. So, as you can see, there are some big movements going on. And what I haven't talked about yet is the fact that we have a nodal shift in 2026. So the nodes up until now have been in Pisces and Virgo. Now the nodes move the opposite way to the way everything else goes. So the North Node in Pisces, which has been bringing up karmic Meetings in your 7th house of significant relationships, giving you the opportunity to make karmic connections, is going to slip into your 6th house, which is Aquarius. And there it's going to focus your attention on looking at what you can do to really prepare and take more care of you and your health and your dependence moving forward. It's also going to empower you to look at how you can give back to society what society has given to you. Then what we have to look at also is that the South Node, which is our karma, it's what we bring in with us in this life, which has been in your sign Virgo, is going to move from your 1st house into your 12th house, Leo. So you're going to get this real shift in energies. You've only got one eclipse in Aquarius and one in Leo, and then the other two are one's in Pisces and one's in Virgo. And let me just tell you when those are, because we have a significant point at the end of February. January, we're going to feel this build up of energies, leading us to February the 17th, when we have a new moon annular solar eclipse in Aquarius. So this will be in your 6th house at 28 degrees. This is almost on your descendant. This is, I think, something about actually a karmic relationship and something that takes you through into the future. Now, on the 20th of February, we have this conjunction between Saturn and Neptune in Aries at the 0 degree. So we've got like boom, boom. And then on the 3rd of March, a total full moon lunar eclipse back in your sign Virgo at 12 degrees. So this energy that's packed, we're going to feel the build-up of it through January. And it will unfold the parts of your life that it's affected, joint resources. It's going to affect your relationships, your routine. These are going to then unfold the results of those as the month progresses into March and April. Now, in April, before I come to the next two eclipses, and I will talk about this nearer the time, but we have an extraordinary stellium of planets in Aries, and that's your 8th house. So that is really going to be highlighting joint resources, but we'll come to that next year. Let's look at the other two eclipses, because there's one in Leo, which is, of course, your 12th house. And this is on August the 12th. This is a new moon total solar eclipse, and it's visible in Europe. This is an important eclipse. Often things don't particularly manifest on an eclipse, but they can. And really, it's a point in time that triggers the energy for what can unfold. It's your 12th house. This is about that inner you. This is triggering you to go and do some inner reflection. Then the final eclipse of the year is a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on August the 28th. And that's at 4 degrees. And that, of course, is in your relationship sector, your 7th house. And that is going to bring about maybe somebody leaves, but whoever might leave, it's timely. Whoever might come in, it's timely. And often when someone leaves, it's because it makes space for that which is coming. I always remember in that lovely film, this is going to show my age, Dances with Wolves, where Kevin Costner says to the Indian chief, why did he, the husband of the girl he's actually in love with, have to die? And the chief says, he had to go because you were coming. And, you know, even now saying that, it makes me go all goosey. I think that is quite lovely. So that's something else that we've got going on. Now, let me see. We've also got a Venus retrograde. And this is going to be in Libra, in your second house of finance. And it'll start in Scorpio, which is your third house of communication. It will move back into Libra and then move back again. It's for 6 weeks. It's through October and it ends in the second week of November. And we've also got 3 Mercury retrogrades. They're all in water signs, Pisces, Cancer and Scorpio. So this is going to bring up quite a lot of deep, emotional, intuitive, memory-based, psychological ideas, making the year reflective from a mercurial point of view. So these are the heads-ups, the headlines, the bullet points for what you can expect for 2026. If I sum it up in one paragraph, I would say that in 2026, Virgo enters a year of profound career redirection, inner healing, work-life recalibration. With Uranus entering Gemini, sudden changes and breakthroughs shake up your career path and your public image, pushing you towards greater authenticity and freedom in your vocation. And that Pluto in Aquarius will continue to deeply transform your health, your daily work and routine, your lifestyle. And it's encouraging you to make firmer boundaries with others. The 6-12 house axis of the Leo eclipse and the Aquarius eclipse bring turning points for healing and the release of unconscious patterns. Jupiter, our planet of luck and opportunity in Cancer, in the first half of the year expands your friendships, your support networks. And then when Jupiter is in Leo from late June, and July is another pivotal month, by the way, because you'll have the Jupiter-Pluto opposition on it's either the 20th or the 21st. There'll also be some other aspects. Uranus will be trining Pluto. There's a whole myriad of transits. So just make a mental note, July, important month. And so Jupiter in Leo is going to turn your attention inward. Might be a great time to seek the services of a good therapist or a good astrologer. And so overall, 2026 is a pivotal, behind the scenes, rebuilding a year that will quietly, but most definitely, reshape your future direction. Well, Virgo, I think this is a deeply profound year laying ahead for you. So I hope you have gained some insight into what to expect in 2026. And If you're new here, if you're new to my channel, if you've just found me today, welcome to my crazy world. And I'd love it if you would subscribe, because by subscribing, it helps the algorithms, and also it means you'll get notified when I upload new content. Liking also helps the algorithm, because once again, YouTube think, oh, someone likes this, so we'll push it out there. It's just, you know, I like to make this available to as many people as possible. I think astrology should be shared and should be available for all. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a blessed 2026, and I really look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for now. Bye.